it's our favorite time of year.
It is. It's turkey season.
Yay.
And I do love turkey hunting. I love really big whitetails, but turkey hunting there's something about it.
And you've been hunting turkeys for a long time.
A long
since
time.
You were 10?
Yeah, Wisconsin, we used to have to draw, and when I was 10 years old, that was like our first season here. And I already knew how to call because I begged my dad one day to buy me a call. He was not a big hunter. Really didn't know much about turkeys. None of us
No one did in the state.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were at Farm and Fleet one day, and there was a call hanging up, and I said, Dad, can you give me this? And so he grabs me this call. I go home, proceed to throw this diaphragm call in my mouth and about throw up all over the kitchen floor. And Mom's like, Bill, what have you done? And so...
Created a monster.
Yes. And
created a monster.
That was it. Dad didn't draw or anything else, but other people in town were drawing tags and getting a hold of Dad to see if I could go out and call turkeys for him. And that began the passion of my turkeys.
Well, let's see if all those years of practice and calling and experience pays off for you.
Yeah, I hope it does, and then, it's, no matter how good you are at it and how much time you spend, sometimes you just got to be lucky too.
Well, it's been a weird season. It's been super cold, super warm. Today it's mid-50s. Really cold this morning. Didn't get out. Haven't hunted much because of the rain, the wind, everything else. I had a turkey banquet. I was kind of hoping this weather would straighten out. And last night we saw a lot of birds down here, so we get in here, and just now we aren't even set up and have a lone tom back in here behind us. I look out the back of the blind. He's there. Throw a few calls at him. He stops, looks down here, and turns around and walks away. It's really goofy. I don't know what's going on here. But hopefully these birds do what they did last night and we end up with a bunch of them out here again and get them in position. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start switching stuff up because I've only got a few days left. So I'm not sure what's going on, but got to keep trying. Well, I got a little upset with myself there, and I kind of threw a little temper tantrum, and I just pushed it. Things weren't going the way I wanted with that bird. We'd been watching him all afternoon, and I thought for sure he'd hit this mark, and he'd turn like he was coming to our decoys. Then he turned and started following some hens over the hill, so I ranged him real quick at 30 yards, but I have the front window open. Side window was only open for filming, so I had a little tiny hole there. And I got nervous, and I was paying way more attention to that hole than what I should have, and took my eye off of it when I released, and I ended up hitting that bird really low. I rewatched the footage, and I hit him low. It looks like I hit him somewhere in that back leg. All the birds kind of are huddled down over this hill, and so I'm assuming he's kind of laying there. It's only, I got to go check this bird. I'm going to go down and see if I can get another arrow in him and finish this humanely. So I'm going to get out here. I'm going to go check on this thing, and always follow up. I mean, even if it's a bad shot, and you know it's a bad shot, even if it's your own fault, which it is my fault for not paying attention to what I should have been, get out and follow this up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go follow this up, and hopefully I have a happy ending at the end of this thing. So stay tuned. Here's the end result of that, of our hunt this afternoon. Absolute beautiful bird, gorgeous. I've always said it, I'd rather be lucky than good. And in this case, that was the truth. I mean, we did what we needed to do, but you saw what happened. I got a little excited. Actually, not really a little excited. I got more of a panic mode as he was not doing what I wanted him to do, and I had a small window to shoot out, so I kind of rushed that situation, but it all turned out good in the end. Hit him in the leg, as you saw, and went down and made a follow-up shot to make sure that he was dispatched humanely, and he was, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, for an early season bird like this, we watched this bird last night for quite a while, and he just wouldn't cooperate, so we moved down the hill, got down here, and tonight it worked. He came in. We had a couple other toms early, and then another one after I'd shot this one. So I know that I've still got a bunch of birds running around out here, but this bird has some incredible hooks on him for this early in the year. So super proud of this thing, super pumped. Glad it all turned out and worked out the way it did. So always, never give up, follow up those shots, even if you think they're bad, because they might not be as bad as you think they are. And so I'm going to get home now, and I got to register this thing, then I'm going to breast this thing out, and I think tomorrow I might have a little turkey for lunch. So looks like pretty good eating to me. So stay tuned.
Well, that didn't quite go as planned.
No, it didn't. As I said, rather be lucky than good sometimes,
Yep.
but it all worked out. I knew when I shot that I was a little bit low, but the one thing with a turkey is if you take out their legs, and that first shot with the arrow, I went through the leg and upper leg, and I knew that was, that he wouldn't have the power left to run, do anything, and that's where all the veins are. So they're, going to bleed a lot too. So we just followed up with him, let him lay for a little bit, just like a deer. Then we followed up, and things worked out.
All right. Well, I don't deal with like the archery nonsense for turkey, so I'm taking my 12 gauge out. Let's see if I can get her done.
Well, it's the first day of my turkey season here at home in Wisconsin. It looks like the weather's finally straightened up, and we got a beautiful spring afternoon here. We're hunting in a spot on our lease it's a spot that's hard to get into in the mornings for us without busting things off or busting them off the roost. So it's a really good afternoon spot. We've had good luck here in the past. The birds have been acting strange with the decoys this year, not just for us, but for other people across Wisconsin and at least one other state. Even using the correct decoys setups for the time of year or the stage of the breeding season. So we opted to leave the jake out of the mix this afternoon and just stick with 2 hens and see if that helps. So we're going to kind of settle in, quiet down, and see if we get anything to come in the day.
This tip of the week is brought to you by Burnt Pit Barbecue, Rubs and Seasonings, veteran owned. Get out and grill. One thing with turkey hunting, whether it's archery or with a shotgun, what it is what are you using to harvest that bird, to kill that bird? As far as archery equipment goes, what I really like to do is when I'm looking at broadheads, I want to look at something that's got somewhere around a 2-inch cut for turkeys.
Bigger the better.
A bigger cut. And whether that's a 2-blade or a 3-blade. Now, I prefer 3-blade heads because the turkeys are smaller. And so if that broadhead is turned just right, you might miss something with a 2-blade. So I prefer the 3-blades. But you look at that. So when you're choosing that, and don't worry about the penetration factor. You need enough to get in the bird. You don't have to pass through like a deer. Sometimes it's better to have the arrow stay in that bird than it is to actually pass through. So that bigger cut is essential when you're looking at archery hunting turkeys. Now, if you're looking at hunting them with a shotgun, there's a couple different things. Michelle uses a 12 gauge. She is...
Used to have 20 gauge.
Right.
I mean, now I just switched to my an all-purpose 12 gauge.
Right. And it's a semi-automatic, so it's got a little less recoil and stuff. But I prefer when you're looking at that, and I have shot a few birds with a shotgun. Usually it's not pretty. It's actually kind of ugly sometimes. But
that.
It happens sometimes. But what I really like to look at, is that 5 or 6 shot or something that has a mix, that 4, 5, and 6 all together in there in a 3-inch load. Anywhere from, the new 410s, TSS loads, they're great. You can do a lot of great things with these. All the way up to that 12 gauge. But the biggest thing is when you get that shell, go out and pattern that gun. No matter if it's a 5 shot, a 6 shot, what it is. Because you will think, hey, my buddy's shooting this, it'll be great. We've actually been through it before where we've had a lot of problems when we've been patterning guns.
Yeah. Always pattern the gun. Not all ammo is made the same and is going to shoot the same. And also, not only the gun, but with the choke.
Yes.
It's kind of like the gun, the choke, the shell combo. It makes a difference. And don't just assume that it's going to pattern and you're going to be able to get your bird. You've got to pattern them.
And we hope that these tips will help you own your season.
Okay.
the ridge, and nothing. Then we heard him closer and could see him on the ridge, but there was a hen with him, and they were heading, I think, to the northwest, following the ridge. And he popped up down here at the other end of this food plot, but the hen came down and is still further up to the north. And he was just, taking his sweet time getting here, but we knew that there was a real, live hen still over there. And I mentioned, we're just using the hen decoys, so he wasn't heading down here urgently, to chase off any Tom or Jake decoy. And then I thought he was just gonna, kind of keep circling, down on the edge of the food plot. So, happy to have had an opportunity there and make a good shot, and let's go take a look at him.
Well, can't be happier than I am with this bird. My first day out this year for my turkey season, went to work this morning and left a little early, ran home, jumped in the truck, head out here, and got a turkey here, within a couple hours. Just beautiful bird, nice mature tom, and gave me an opportunity, and was happy to be able to get the job done.